They say money shows people's true colors. In my family's case, it revealed secrets that had been buried for decades. I'm Grace Mitchell, and until 6 months ago, I was just the quiet granddaughter who visited Grandma Catherine every weekend. My cousin Jennifer was the successful one, or at least that's what my Aunt Susan never tired of telling everyone. Jennifer's getting another promotion, Aunt Susan would announce at family dinners. She'll be running that investment firm in no time. Meanwhile, I was the family disappointment. After college, instead of taking a high-powered corporate job like Jennifer, I chose to work with special needs children. The pay wasn't great, but I loved making a difference in my students' lives. Such a waste of potential, Aunt Susan would sigh. You could be making 6 figures like Jennifer. What no one knew was that every Saturday, while Jennifer was networking at country clubs, I was sitting with Grandma Catherine, looking through old photo albums and listening to her stories. She had fascinating tales about her life as one of the first female stockbrokers in the 1960s. The men thought they could push me around, she'd chuckle, until I started outperforming them all. Grandma had turned a small inheritance into a fortune through smart investments, though she lived modestly in the same house she'd bought 50 years ago. Only her executor, Mr. Harrison, knew the true extent of her wealth. I loved those Saturday visits. Grandma would make tea in her favorite china cups, and we'd talk about everything: my work with the children, her investments, family history. Sometimes she'd give me advice about money management, teaching me the principles that had made her successful. Remember, Grace, she'd say, true wealth isn't just about money, it's about character. Jennifer visited occasionally, always with Aunt Susan in tow. They'd spend the time talking about Jennifer's latest achievements and hinting about Grandma's inheritance. Mom's getting older, Aunt Susan would say. We should discuss estate planning. Grandma would just smile and change the subject. What they didn't know was that during our Saturday visits, Grandma was quietly testing all of us. She'd leave her expensive jewelry out when Jennifer visited, watching through her security cameras as her successful granddaughter pocketed pieces she thought wouldn't be missed. She noticed how Aunt Susan always tried to get her to sign documents without reading them carefully, just routine updates, she'd say, but Grandma would insist on having Mr. Harrison review everything. And she saw how I never asked for anything, content just to spend time with her, learning from her stories and wisdom. Then came the day we'd all dreaded. Grandma Catherine passed away peacefully in her sleep, leaving behind a legacy none of us fully understood, at least not yet. The family gathered at Mr. Harrison's office for the reading of the will. Aunt Susan arrived in designer clothes, Jennifer in an expensive suit. I wore a simple black dress from my teacher's wardrobe. Before we begin, Mr. Harrison said, Mrs. Mitchell left specific instructions about how this meeting should proceed. Aunt Susan leaned forward eagerly. Yes, let's get to the distribution. I assume the estate will be divided equally? Mr. Harrison adjusted his glasses. Actually, Mrs. Mitchell left most of her estate to a single heir. Well, of course, Aunt Susan smiled. Jennifer is the obvious choice. She's the only one who really understands finance. Mom, Jennifer preened. Grandma knew I could manage the money best. That's when Mr. Harrison dropped the bomb. Mrs. Mitchell left her entire estate, valued at approximately $40 million, to her granddaughter, Grace Mitchell. The room exploded in chaos. Jennifer actually fell out of her chair. Aunt Susan jumped to her feet, face red with fury. This is impossible, she screamed. Grace must have manipulated Mom. She spent all that time with her, poisoning her mind against us. Actually, Mr. Harrison said calmly, Mrs. Mitchell left a letter explaining her decision. She was very specific about when it should be read. He pulled out an envelope and began reading Grandma's words. My dear family. If you're hearing this, then the truth about my estate has just been revealed. I know this may come as a shock to some of you, but my decision was made with great care and consideration. For years, I've watched and tested all of you. I saw how Jennifer stole my jewelry, thinking I wouldn't notice. Yes, dear, those missing pieces are all documented on my security cameras. I saw how Susan tried repeatedly to get me to sign away my assets through routine paperwork that would have left me penniless. And I saw Grace, who never asked for anything except my time and stories, who used what I taught her about investing to start a small scholarship fund for her special needs students, never telling anyone it was her own money making it possible. You see, I didn't build my fortune by being naive. I've had cameras in my house for years. I've kept records of every visit, every conversation, every attempted manipulation. Mr. Harrison has copies of everything. including footage of Jennifer stealing and Susan's attempted fraud. But the final test came 3 months ago. I secretly divided $100,000 between 3 charity accounts, one in each of your names. I wanted to see what you would do with money you thought no one knew about. Jennifer, you immediately transferred your portion to your personal account. Susan, you tried to access Grace's portion using a forged power of attorney. And Grace? She donated her portion to the Children's Hospital, anonymously. You all showed me exactly who you are, Jennifer and Susan. You proved that no amount of money would ever be enough for you. You'd keep taking, keep wanting more, keep trying to manipulate others for personal gain. But Grace proved that she understands what real wealth means, not just having money, but using it to make the world better. She has the character and wisdom to handle this inheritance responsibly. So yes, I'm leaving everything to Grace, and before anyone considers contesting this decision, Mr. Harrison has extensive documentation of everything I've mentioned. Any legal challenge will result in all of this evidence becoming public record. Additionally, I've instructed Mr. Harrison to turn over evidence of Jennifer's thefts and Susan's attempted fraud to the authorities if they attempt to contest the will or harass Grace in any way. Jennifer, Susan, I love you, but I cannot reward your behavior. Perhaps this will be the wake-up call you need to reevaluate your priorities. Grace, I know you'll use this inheritance wisely. You already understand that true wealth lies in how you help others, not in what you own. With love and clear-eyed wisdom, Grandma Catherine. As Mr. Harrison finished reading, Jennifer fainted dead away. Aunt Susan stood frozen, her face ashen as she realized how completely her manipulations had backfired. I sat quietly, tears rolling down my cheeks, missing Grandma more than ever. She'd seen everything, understood everything, and had orchestrated this moment to teach our family a final lesson about character and consequences. Mr. Harrison handed me another envelope, private instructions. He said quietly, to be read when you're alone. Aunt Susan found her voice. This isn't over. We'll contest. I wouldn't advise that. Mr. Harrison interrupted. The evidence Mrs. Mitchell gathered is quite extensive. Would you like me to play some of the security footage now? Susan grabbed her still unconscious daughter and fled the office. Later that night, in the privacy of my apartment, I read Grandma's private letter. She'd left detailed instructions about managing the inheritance, along with personal messages about each of her investments, but it was the last paragraph that meant the most. My dearest Grace, you were never the family disappointment. You were the only one who truly understood what matters. Your work with those children, your quiet generosity, your genuine love for others rather than money. You're the granddaughter I'm most proud of. Use this inheritance to continue making the world better, and know that I saw you, understood you, and loved you for exactly who you are. The following weeks were challenging. Aunt Susan and Jennifer tried to spread rumors about me manipulating Grandma, but Mr. Harrison's evidence quickly silenced them. When they realized challenging the will would expose their own misdeeds, they retreated to lick their wounds. I kept my job teaching special needs children, but now I had the resources to do more. I established a foundation in Grandma's name, providing educational opportunities for disadvantaged children. The scholarship fund I'd been running in secret became a major program, helping dozens of students instead of just 2 or 3. Grandma's modest house became a community center, offering after-school programs and support for families with special needs children. The same rooms where she'd taught me about investing now hosted classes teaching financial literacy to kids and young adults. A year has passed since that day in Mr. Harrison's office. The foundation is thriving, touching more lives than I ever imagined possible. Aunt Susan and Jennifer moved to Florida, unable to face the family after the truth came out. Last week, I found another letter from Grandma, hidden in one of her old investment books. If you're reading this, it said, you've started exploring my library. Good. There's so much more for you to learn. Keep studying, keep growing, keep helping others. That's what real wealth is for. I've kept all of Grandma's security footage, not to hold over my aunt and cousin, but to remind myself of the lesson she taught us all. Character reveals itself in actions, not words, and true wealth isn't about how much you have, but how you use it to help others. The china cups we used during our Saturday visits sit in my office now. Sometimes, when I'm reviewing foundation grants or planning new programs, I make tea in them and imagine Grandma sitting across from me, smiling her wise smile. Remember, Grace, I can almost hear her say, money doesn't make you rich, character does. The family dynamics have shifted permanently. Other relatives who once looked down on my career choice now ask for advice about charitable giving and meaningful work. Some have even volunteered at the community center, discovering the joy of helping others. Grandma's final lesson continues to ripple outward, touching lives far beyond our family. The foundation has helped hundreds of children access better educational opportunities. The community center hosts weekly meetings for parents of special needs children, providing support and resources I wish I'd had when I first started teaching. Jennifer recently sent a letter asking to reconcile, claiming she's changed. Maybe she has. Grandma's revelation about the security cameras certainly shocked her into reevaluating her behavior, but trust, like character, has to be earned through actions, not words. Aunt Susan still tells people she was cheated out of her inheritance, but her audience has shrunk considerably. The evidence Grandma gathered made it clear who had really been trying to do the cheating. Mr. Harrison continues to serve as a trusted advisor, helping me navigate the complexities of managing such a large estate while staying true to Grandma's values. Sometimes he shares stories about their long friendship, helping me understand even more about the remarkable woman who saw through everyone's facades to their true character. The investment principles Grandma taught me during those Saturday visits have proven invaluable. The estate has grown under my management, allowing the foundation to help more people every year, but more importantly, I've maintained her emphasis on ethical investing and using wealth responsibly. In the end, Grandma's greatest gift wasn't the money, it was the lesson she taught us all about the true nature of wealth and character. She showed us that what you do when you think no one is watching reveals who you really are. The security cameras that caught Jennifer stealing and Susan scheming still operate in the community center, though now they protect the children and families we serve. Sometimes I look at the monitors and smile, thinking about how Grandma used technology not just for security, but for revealing truth. Her letter, framed in my office, serves as a daily reminder that true wealth isn't measured in dollars but in impact. The money she left me was just a tool, the real inheritance was the wisdom to use it well. And those Saturday visits? They weren't just about keeping an elderly woman company, they were master classes in character, integrity, and the responsibility that comes with privilege, lessons that continue to shape not just my life, but the lives of everyone the foundation touches. Grandma Catherine's legacy lives on, not just in the millions she left behind, but in the wisdom she shared and the values she taught. She proved that sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who sees everything most clearly. And me? I'm still the same person I was before the inheritance, just with better resources to help others. Because that's what Grandma taught me, true character doesn't change with circumstance, it just becomes more visible. The money she left revealed everyone's true colors, but more importantly, it revealed the power of using wealth wisely, of seeing through pretense to character, and of understanding that the richest legacy isn't what you leave behind, but what you teach others about integrity and purpose. Grandma would be proud not of the millions in the foundation's accounts, but of the lives being changed every day through her legacy of wisdom and compassion. In the end, that's worth more than any inheritance.